Africa. The call of the continent has fascinated me ever since I was a curious little boy back in the 1940s, unraveling Africa's mysteries in the pages of the National Geographic. Well, to be honest, I started reading the magazine mainly because in those days it was the only place you could see naked ladies. My earliest heroes were the great African explorers, Richard Francis Burton, John Hanning Speke, first Westerner to see Lake Victoria, the intrepid Henry Morton Stanley of New York,
Dr. Livingston, I presume.
My enduring role model was the fearless Captain Jeffrey T. Spaulding.
Spaulding, the African explorer.
Did someone call me Schnorrer?
Hooray, hooray, hooray.
He went into the jungles where all the monkeys throw nuts.
If I stay here, I'll go nuts.
Hooray, hooray, hooray.
One morning, I shot an elephant in my pajamas. How he got in my pajamas, I don't know.
Through the 1950s, I absorbed everything I could learn in America about African culture. To hunters back then, African culture meant bagging the big five: the lion, Simba, the leopard, Chewy, the elephant, Tembo, the rhino, Kifaru, the Cape buffalo, Umbogo. Teddy Roosevelt put British East Africa on the hunting map when his entourage cheerfully shot thousands of animals there in 1909. Ernest Hemingway's macho example made Africa the destination for countless shooting safaris. In World War I, Britain fought to take over German East Africa, a conflict central to the 1951 film classic, The African Queen.
Fire over the ship!
I came to British Tanganyika on a hunt, invited by Sir Stafford Potts, British Secretary for the Colonies.
No comment. I told you I'm on holiday.
With him was his beautiful Italian wife, Elsa. My old pictures show what I looked like in Africa at age 20, accompanied by my first wife, Debbie. Alan Quatermain, a dashing white hunter, was engaged to guide us to the unexplored region, jungles far to the west.
How long will it take us to get there?
Weeks, months perhaps, I don't know. I've never taken a woman on safari with me before.
Have I been a handicap?
The fun hasn't started yet.
Before we started, Elsa had a problem.
Mamma mia.
We're on safari, hit that drum. Go on safari to kingdom come.
Shua, 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 my boy. Shua, 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 my boy.
I want a ticket to be free. Give me that pass to liberty.
Pass the gate, pass the gate, pass the gate, now my boy.
Shua, 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 my boy.
Shua, 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 my boy. Shua, my boy.
Inching over punishing lava rocks, our caravan finally reached the tent camp, where one lazy afternoon, Sir Stafford saved my life. We struck out across country, encountering scorching heat, malarial mosquitoes, incredible danger. One morning I shot an elephant who was getting a little close to my pajamas. Now that was a safari. The Africans even gave me a name I have treasured, Mzungu Zuga Zuga. They said it meant respected visitor. In 1961, under President Julius Nyerere, Tanganyika gained uhuru, freedom, 2 years before neighbor Kenya. The island nation of Zanzibar joined Tanganyika in 1964 to form today's United Republic of Tanzania. I love cats. Admiring my cat Bessie, I decide to revisit her cousins, the big cats of Africa. I sign up for a Globus travel tour, 9 days with 11 game drives in Tanzania. My wife Irma and I mail our passports to the Tanzanian embassy in Washington and get visas for $100 each. Non-Americans pay $50. Judging from YouTube, we can expect to see every species of animal, endless leopards,
Here she comes. Here she comes.
friendly cheetahs using our SUVs as control towers to spot game, daily kills by cats running by us at 70 miles an hour, the angry charge of a bull elephant, even Simbas sharing intimate interludes with the tourists.
Did you climax? I couldn't tell.
She goes, that's okay.
Roll over.
Come on. Is that what they always do?
Flying via Amsterdam to Tanzania on KLM. As night draws on, majestic Kilimanjaro, highest peak in Africa, at 19,340 feet. We land below the mountain at Kilimanjaro International Airport. We deplane to a special greeting. In the terminal, President Jakaya Kikwete is on television with a flattering speech.
Na barabara za lami zilikuwa mijini, nako walikokuwa wanakaa wazungu, kwa sababu walitugawa matabaka. Tabaka la juu wazungu.
At the upscale Mount Meru Hotel in Arusha the next morning, Kavishe, the tour director, assures us we will see the Big Five. Our two guides and drivers, Prosper and Safe, say Jumbo, hello. In our group of 11, myself, my old guns reluctantly replaced by a National Geographic camera bag, Irma, psychologist and artist, Judith Workstell of Laguna Beach, California, packing an elephant gun of a zoom lens. Her son Josh Workstell and his wife Andrea of Seaford, Long Island. Josh's brother Justin Workstell of Phoenix. Mary Howard, Highland Park, New Jersey. Scott Silvers of Burke, Virginia, and his son Eric Silvers of Rockville, Maryland. Joanna Raffle and Sandy Smith, Fort Anne, New York. It happens that Sandy's former husband was Irma's history professor at Vermont's Castleton State College. It's a small world after all. Arusha has 200 safari companies to serve 1 million tourists who bring in nearly $2 billion a year. Globus employs Ranger Safaris and its four-wheel drive Toyota Land Cruisers. Twende, let's go. Outbound for 4 national parks, we navigate the ramshackle outskirts of Arusha, noticing murals honoring Muammar Gaddafi, President Obama, Pope Benedict. Aboard the Toyotas, the required bottled water, lots of it. At a stop, Kavishe outlines what he wants us to learn on safari.
Number 1 is the culture, that's from the people. Number 2 will be the wildlife. geography, history, and traditions and taboos.
Rugged woodland dotted with acacia and baobab trees that say Africa. Tarangire means Warthog River, accurately named. A sign warns of danger ahead, but there is little sense of that at the first of our 4-star hotels. Wi-Fi, sumptuous meals. On the grounds, a chameleon, a cute rock hyrax, a vervet monkey. Bedtime mosquito nets remind us about malaria, but otherwise, by 1960 Hemingway standards, what kind of Pussycat safari is this? On the game drives, they start you out on the cute, harmless stuff. The dik-dik, smallest of the antelopes. Impalas. Water bucks. A hartebeest. Mongoose squatters on a termite mound. A troop of olive baboons. After the tropical birds, it's another thrill to view some elephants. Ellies, they're called here. Sawa sawa. Okay. The first giraffes, eventually so many of them that we start calling the place Giraffic Park. Giraffic Park, pretty good, huh? Back at poolside, Andrea and Josh are philosophical about roughing it in the African bush.
It's an adjustment period, that's for sure. But once you get past the initial shock of the
of not having the alcohol brands that you like.
Yeah,
What other sacrifices have you made here?
Oh, let's see. Lack of certain cable channels. Let's see, what else?
Internet in our room.
Yeah, haven't had any silk sheets yet. But hopefully the next lodge will be able to get some of those. It'd be nice.
We press southwestward for Lake Manyara, but no big cats yet. Our preconceptions from watching all those Africa videos challenge.
They think that we're going to see a cat right here. Once we're in the wilderness, we're going to see a cat. Once we see a cat is going to hunt us. But this is not. It's not their typical life.
Like the cats. The cats are sleeping mostly.
They're sleeping mostly. Yeah. They have so many kind of behaviors, so they need to rest or spend some time before go eating again.
What have been your favorite animals?
Probably the baboons. I know some of the bigger animals are pretty exciting, but I just always like the baboons and watching them run around and play.
Our first hippos, and another luxury lodge offering views of the small Lakeside National Park and banks of internet computers.
Oh, it's lush. It's just calm and peaceful, and it just feels like home. It really does. Roads are bumpy, I must say. You know, we complain about the 405 or traffic jams, but the ruts will slow you down just as good, I guess. And it's lovely, though. I'll put up with it.
A tour of nearby Mtowambu, Mosquito River, a banana-growing town of 30,000, blessed by underground springs, attracting thousands of yellow-billed storks to the trees. In the market, a cornucopia of tropical fruits and Makande tribesmen who can spend years carving a single ebony figure. At the hotel, local Iraku singers and dancers entertain. Kavishe, a Chaga tribesman, puts all this tribal identity in context.
125 different tribes in Africa have been trained by the socialist government to live together as brothers and sisters, and they like each other. It's like one family. In Tanzania, we have the Tanzania tribe, not small tribes. So it doesn't matter which tribe you come from.
On the 5-hour slog to the Serengeti, we pass the Hillary Clinton shop in Karatu, and Kavishe briefs us on the area's history.
And they came here after planning to write a book and made a movie called Serengeti Shall Not Die.
Soon we are surrounded by the most wildness yet, the Great Migration. 1.5 million wildebeest, or gnus, and their 300,000 zebra allies on their circular annual 4,000-mile search for food and water from the southern Serengeti to the Masai Mara country up in Kenya. Zebras face fore and aft, on the watch for lions. The nomads share the plain with bustards and Thompson's gazelles, Tommies for short. We approach the main gate of the world-famous Serengeti National Park, bigger than the state of Connecticut. Entry fee, $50 for foreigners, $1 for Tanzanians.
Well, I would love to see a cougar. They have
no, that's in America. The closest thing is cheetahs.
Yeah, and cheetahs.
Yeah.
And rhinoceros.
Yeah.
I would like to see a rhinoceros.
Why? What is it about the rhinoceros?
They're so huge and they've got such a reputation, and I would really like to see one up close. Well, safely though.
Jonjoni wote tucheze ngoma za Afrika.
Tuzichezeni ni utamaduni wetu.
Jonjoni wote tucheze ngoma za Afrika.
Tuzichezeni ni utamaduni wetu. Afrika Kusini na Magharibi. Tuzichezeni ni utamaduni wetu. Afrika ya Kati na Mashariki. Tuzichezeni ni utamaduni wetu.
Njoni wote tucheze ngoma.
In this near wilderness where many travelers stay in tent camps, for us it's another nice hotel.
It's not so rugged when you're like a 4-star hotel. Eating, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and nice restaurant, but it's not so bad. Little rides are a little bumpy.
On our balcony, a vervet mom and baby. Seeking a handout we are cautioned not to give. Excitement builds. On the distant savanna, the line of migrating wildebeest, protein on the hoof. 2 of the park's 3,000 lions lie in wait for some good news. Scavengers rush to the action. Another good place for cats, kapias, rock outcroppings named for the Afrikaans word for little head. Andrea poses for Josh at one kapia where it's safe. At last, the prospect of big cats. Drivers tip each other by radio on where the animals are. For us to get out and mark our territory in the grass, as Kavishe puts it. At another kapia, sure enough, a lioness.
Moro copies number 3.
A herd of Toyotas, always a sign of something intriguing. In this case, a pride of lions sleeping in a tree in the style of leopards. Missouri Sana, very good.
You know, you get this interpretation of what Africa is with what you see on TV, the National Geographics. Expect a lot more lions and carnage, but you know, I guess it's still there, but you don't see it so much.
Maybe not, but something truly unusual now. A wildebeest stalked by a young lion turns and starts chasing the astounded cat. Whenever the wildebeest turns to walk away, the lion resumes stalking. The gnu is having none of it. The foes are facing off, life and death at stake. The wildebeest moves off again, young Simba in wary pursuit. Suddenly, the lion-hearted wildebeest breaks into a run toward its distant herd. The lion, perhaps not hungry enough or not yet strong enough, watches its prey successfully retreat. And now the rare sight of a leopard growling in the tall grass of the veldt's rainy season. Starting off at sunrise for a catered breakfast deep in the bush. Samso, a Maasai wearing the blood-red shuka cloak his tribe uses to scare off lions, chats with Irma. Over breakfast, Prosper relates a tourist story.
I have about 4 clients in my jeep, and we went to the bush. We saw a big pride of lions. One of my clients, he wanted to pet the lions, and he opened the door, and as I told him not to go outside, it's very dangerous. But he pushed me. He wanted to go and pet the lions.
It is May, the season of the long rains, but for us, almost no rain falls. Pleasant for our holiday, less so for Tanzania.
Global warming is the biggest problem because we don't have a lot of irrigation in our farming here. But yeah, that's the problem. The agriculture is not doing very well because of the drought.
Rain or shine, animals contest for dominance. 2 giraffes engage in the behavior called necking, wrestling for superiority. Elephants do their fighting with their trunks.
Like pushing each other. This is how they fight.
This Ellie claims its dominance over an annoying marabou stork. Elephants can be destructive. This gal strips an acacia of its delicious bark, probably dooming the tree. A hippopotamus, kiboko in the language actually called Kiswahili, heads for a waterhole. In the drier high tourist season of later months, that is where you will find the animals. On the endless Serengeti plain, nothing goes to waste, not with all the vultures, hyenas, and jackals that flock to a kill.
It's a jackal, the second jackal.
Even a steaming, fibrous pile of fresh elephant droppings has its place in the circle of life. To this dung beetle, it's a month of meals and a sex chamber that he buries underground. Though he's lowest ranking on the Serengeti totem pole, his attitude is Hakuna Matata. In 2008, U.S. President George W. Bush did his stiff best to jump with Maasai warriors. It will be our turn now. A truck packed with Maasai, then the site of their fortified villages, or bomas, mark the start of their land. Originating in southern Sudan, Maasai reached Tanzania in the 17th century. Herders of cows, sheep, and goats, they are renowned for courage, polygamy, and drinking the milk and blood of their cows. Beneath Mount Lema Krut lies the boma called Nyasima, fenced against lions. We enter the enclosure, welcomed by a Maasai wearing sandals made from motorbike tires. The villagers show us their huts, or kibanda, all built by women, where full-time fires cook the food and warm the family. We visit the school children learning to read. Now, on a windy morning, it is showtime. Away from the crowd, I try out my awkward Kiswahili on the Maasai women.
Hakuna Matako.
This doesn't seem to go over so well. I try again.
Hakuna Matiti.
It seems that Hakuna Matako means you've got no ass. Hakuna Matiti, you've got no breast. The village explodes. I lead our group in a desperate dash for the Toyotas. It's a close call, but at least the incident reminds me of the adventurous old days. This rift in the Great Rift Valley has been called the Cradle of Mankind. Here, Louis and Mary Leakey and their son Richard found fossils of some of our earliest ancestors. Nearby, Mary Leakey found a 3.5 million year old footprint of an early hominid scientists named Lucy. Ancient skulls give an indication of what some of these beings, including Homo habilis, looked like. No wonder Caviche tells us, "Welcome home." The Ngorongoro crater is like nothing else on the planet. 2 million years ago, a giant volcano collapsed, forming a spectacular caldera 12 miles across, a natural zoo for thousands of animals, fenced in by ridges 2,000 feet high. It is a Garden of Eden, except that its eternal beauty masks primeval battles for survival.
Every experience I've had in Africa has been special. I just really love it. And in particular, this trip was for my kids, and I wanted them to see Tanzania, and in particular Ngorongoro crater, because it's my favorite. It's a pretty special place. Quantity of wildlife, the quality of the wildlife, the beauty of the scenery.
Our hotel on the rim overlooks the caldera. We wait to descend the next morning, hoping Ngorongoro will be the highlight of the safari. Our only rhinoceros, or kifaru, becomes visible on a far-off rise.
Yeah, there's the profile. It's a kiboko, all right.
Again, my Swahili is wrong, but we have completed the Big Five. Caviche says Ngorongoro's 70 resident lions are the laziest and weakest lions anywhere. In these tight quarters, they don't have to work very hard for their food. A swooping mountain buzzard signals that a few lions have roused themselves to deadly activity.
Oh, look.
I probably don't even know about that one over there.
The tusks.
Attention shoppers! The next time you buy boar's head meat at the deli, remember who delivers it. Tough luck, Pumbaa the warthog, but East Africa wins again. Near Lake Magadi, a cheetah, lean sports car of the feline world. He's a 6-year-old male, prowling for breakfast with zebras and a wildebeest as witnesses. This could be our supreme moment. Land cruisers and Land Rovers maneuver for position at the scene. The very public rabbit hunt is on.
I hope it finds a little rabbit.
Got something.
Oh, excuse me, just a minute.
Hold on, video.
I got it.
They killed it. It's dead.
Rabbit, you win. Safe. That was brilliant. That was brilliant maneuvering. Brilliant.
Finally got a kill.
My favorite animal was the last one, the cheetah. That's when I saw the kill. That's what I wanted to see. Came in with very little understanding of the animals. Other trips I've taken, it's just been things that are historical, very old. This was just very unique.
Everybody was extremely nice. No one was a psycho nut.
I was appalled with some of the poverty that we saw, and why the government isn't a little more active in resolving some of those problems.
What concerns me is their high priority is in education, because you're not going to change a society.
The Tanzanian government is trying to do a lot to improve social service, including hospitals, education. So it's growing up very slowly.
This is a great trip. Best I've ever taken. I've taken an awful lot of them.
I owe the climax of my trip to the National Geographic. Publicity-conscious women hear about my camera bag and eagerly walk from the Central African Republic in the mistaken belief that I work for the magazine. A final surprise, on the way to the airport we run into President Kikwete. Through an interpreter I ask, "Mr. President, nobody else will answer this question for me. Can you confirm that my African name, Mzungu Zuga Zuga, means respected visitor?"
Utaweka sanamu, utaweka nini? Utaweka sanamu au
Nataka nyumba sio sanamu. What the president said to the tour group's laughter was that my name actually means idiotic white guy. So now I'm just going to slink away, say kwaheri, goodbye to Africa, and fly home to LAX.
Waiting at home is little Bessie, who pounces on her food just like her big cat cousins. She's the fiercest cat I'm likely to see until I dare to show my face in Africa again. Until then, I will cherish the lesson of Tanzania. It is a real safari, and a better one, when the animals, not the people, do the killing.